Let's get to a wider question, which is actually a CNBC TV18 expose. CNBC TV18 has been, over the past several weeks and actually months, exposing many companies which have questionable fundamentals but mind-boggling stock price movement. And now Sebi too has trained its guns on 104 such companies. Usually these companies are being used by their promoters and other brokers for money laundering or largely for tax evasion. Some of the companies, of course, promoters have been banned, and some very big names have been involved in using this. That's what sources from Sebi have been telling us. Let's get an expert in on this subject to tell us whether this can expand into a broader movement against unscrupulous elements in the market. Mr. Gupta, former executive director of Sebi, joins us to explain some of the finer details. Mr. Gupta, good morning. Thank you very much for joining us. How serious do you think this entire tax evasion problem is? Are you surprised by names like even Bhushan Group promoters coming in?
See, I am not surprised, because such things were floating in the market earlier, that people are using the stock market route for tax planning. I do not think that the tax planning is a bad thing unless until it involves some systemic issue. And here we have to look into the problem into three different parts. One is the tax planning, the other is the integrity of the market, third is the investor related issues. Had it been pure tax planning which did not involve any issue of market integrity, or it did not hurt investor, probably it would not have come into the radar of Sebi, or Sebi would not have been bothered, or at the most Sebi would have referred the matter to income tax department that it has come to their notice. But what has happened in this case, that those participants, in order for tax planning, they have rigged the market, or they have played in the market, and they have spoiled the integrity of the market, which is a very big issue for the regulator, as its primary duty is to maintain the integrity of the market and protect the investors. Now what happens? It is not an isolated case that those 2 people or 3 people or 10 people or 20 people who were planning to reduce the tax, or they were doing tax planning, they were involved. What happened? Along with their transactions, the transactions of other innocent investors were also involved. And they would have bought shares of companies which were not worth what they were quoting at.
Okay. Mr. Gupta, our research shows that the market capital of these mysterious companies could be over 50,000 crores. Do you think that there are more rotten eggs coming into the market soon?
See, neither I have a crystal ball nor you have a crystal ball to say that what is going to be the size of thing. Yes, it could be a situation, because if you have seen, it is not one order, there are 3 successive orders that have come from Sebi. That very clearly indicates that it may not be the end of this game, and maybe there could be many more orders coming from Sebi, because it could be just one portion of the problem that had come to the surface. So if many more orders like this come, many more people are caught like this, then we can say that the size of the problem or size of the matter which is at hand could be enormous. But it will not be possible for me or anybody else to put a number of 10,000 crore or 20,000 crore or a lakh crore. We could not be doing that. And then who could be involved? Again, this is an issue of investigation. It will not be prudent nor fair for us to make any judgment that whether the big corporates are involved or a small corporates are involved or individuals are involved. Yes, it is a very simple issue that people are messing up with the system.
Yes, Mr. Gupta, that's true. Basically it is money laundering because there is an issue like long-term capital gains. Now, is that the only problem because of the existence of tax exemption for long-term capital gains? Therefore, this problem exists?
See, it is a very simple issue that none of the regulator or none of the law enforcing agency will be able to catch all the culprits. That's why the system of punishment has to be such that it acts as a deterrent for future problems. Unfortunately, everywhere the enforcement is a big issue because you are not able to catch. The second most important issue in our country is lack of education with the investors. Because I really do not know how can an investor buy a stock which is quoting at a 2000 or 3000 PE, which had no performance to back up for last couple of years. So my point is that the systemic issues are there and people are able to misutilize that and create all the problem for others while making profit for themselves or while making tax planning for themselves.
Okay, so now to come to the remedies, what are the remedies to stop these tax evasive games?
No, remedy would always lie in all the agencies working in harmony, and whenever somebody is caught, giving a punishment which should be acting as a deterrent. A 2 months barring or 3 months barring from the market or something like that is none, because then that person will be born in some other name and continue doing this. The issue is that it should be a very tough message that if you are messing up with the system, we are going to mess with your life.
Okay, are you surprised, Mr. Gupta, that the size of the problem has become so big and that the regulator hasn't done anything so far?
I would not say regulators haven't done anything. I would always say that the people who are breaking the law will always be 1 or 2 steps ahead of the regulators. Regulators will try to plug one problem today, the lawbreakers will find 2 other methods to break the law. So regulator will always be lacking in the savviness of the people who want to break the law. But yes, it is an issue and all regulators have to tackle it.
But you would still think that it is the capital market regulators, Sebi and tax department, which are really responsible to unearth this.